Good day, beloved. Much love to you and yours. Getting into the flow of things. Getting into the flow of things. I was thinking, what? I couldn't help it. So I've been doing some thinking. And I feel like I kind of have vertigo up here, you know. This is what I'm standing on right now. It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful up here. I like to be on the edge. This feeling I be trying to overcome when I stand on the edge. I'm actually pushing myself to overcome this feeling in my freaking gut right now because I'm standing on the edge of this thing. Like there's this, I don't want to say fear because it's not a fear. If it was fear in the way that we usually portray fear, I wouldn't freaking do it. You know, like real fear is when you don't think there's a way to come up out of it. Like we go on roller coasters. That's a choice. That's like working your way through a feeling. You know, doggone well, nothing's gonna happen to you. You're just working your way through a feeling. That's not fear. That's something else. To me, fear is something that polarizes you, or you can't freaking move. You know what I'm saying? Much love to you and yours. So I'm out here on this edge, looking at the water. So pretty. And I was thinking about this feeling that I have standing on this edge. Feelings aren't that, right? And I was thinking about this world being an illusion, and us calling it a matrix, right? And I was looking at all this green, probably a bad color to start out with. But color, when I was thinking about the research I've been doing regarding perception and light, part of that is how light hits our optics, and how when we see things, our brain goes through this whole shebang of turning something that we see upside down, right side up, so that we can see it and comprehend it. And I was thinking again about how witnesses to a crime will see things differently depending on how they're wired, you know, up here to portray what was fed back to them by their optics, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that has to do with our own prejudices that we carry with us. So this perception, so I said, this is not fear. This is something else that I don't have a word for yet. This is deliberate. Anticipation, like an intense anticipation. Now this is different than a roller coaster. I can't fall off this joint. And I am fighting the feeling, like a wooziness in your stomach. Eventually, maybe you will throw up. But sometimes that wooziness is just a feeling of nausea, right? So I'm looking at the different layers and the different aspects of one thing. And that's the same way that our Creator is. It's a whole. Like we get all of this from one thing. And then by way of perception, either naturally, nature's selection breaks it down and makes it a tree or a human or a dog, right? according to its own seed, its own orchestration of light, its own correspondence to the God frequency. You know what I'm saying? Is why it's a tree or a bird or a dog, person. But it's all life. It's all material and ether. It's all fire, water, earth, air, right? And ether. So I'm thinking about our perception and the way we see things, and a lot of that has to do even with knowing, with information, with indoctrination, right? Though we can see the same thing, the same symbol, the same situation, and see something entirely different. Entirely different. That is so amazing. How we portray this God frequency, this creative frequency. All of us in a day can change at what we do and come up with something new and contribute something to life. A whole bunch of triads making a symbol of sacred geometry, you know. So anyway, this color, right? This color had me freaking out, because in the same way I didn't have another word for fear, and I was thinking about our optics, I was also thinking how none of this is actually here. It's like the Man on the Stairs poem, you know? The Man on the Stairs poem is something like, man, I don't remember it exactly, but it's like, this guy was walking and he met a man on the stairs that wasn't there. The stairs is synonymous with life, you know, with the mystery, you know. Anyway, color is not actually here. This matrix, they say, is an illusion, and it's not really that difficult to understand that when you think about how this color isn't even here. What isn't here? So we see upside down, and then our mind turns it right side up, and then we have to perceive that mess within the length of time that we had to reflect upon it. And our brain does all that calculation. That's a beautiful mystery in itself, like birth, right? And then we have this color. This color, what we're seeing is not actually here. We're seeing the absence of what's not here. So if I see, tell me I'm tripping, right? Yeah, tell me I'm dreaming. What? Tell me I'm dreaming. Yes, you're dreaming. I was reading Thor, and the part where there was another part where it said, "This life is but a shadow. This is the shadow." So I was looking at my shadow. The essence of life, not seen, the shadow. Okay, so if that green isn't there, or that blue isn't there, but I see it. It's not there, but I see it. My eyes turn things that are upside down, right side up, and I see them, and the blue isn't there. It's a reflection of what's not there. So if that is true, and I'm able to like try to bend my mind around that, right? What the freak is it? If I think I'm seeing things that I'm not actually seeing, because we're seeing what is not here. What? Yeah, I had to share this because, see, this I wasn't like about to do this riddle in my head by myself. Oh no. So you have to join me. You see what I mean? Yeah, pretty trippy, right? things that are not here. We're seeing that is not actually here. The shadow, I was thinking of Peter Pan, and the shadow is it's just wild. It's just wild. I was thinking of the Matrix movie where they're in the pods and they think that they're living, and he's actually got tubes, you know, and he's sitting in embiotic fluid inside of a pod. It's not really, when we start breaking down these different parts, it's not really that difficult to understand that we might just be hallucinating. Standing on the edge. You see that, how far up I was? These people that were fishing walked down there. The perception, the feeling and the perception that I may fall from off here. Okay? So it's not so. If I don't move and I know that there's nothing wrong with my legs, I'm straight, right? I'm not gonna fall off of here. I can jump up and down, really. Okay? Overcoming that. Here, what, am I gonna jump a whole foot over? Am I gonna jump and end up over there? Or jump and end up over there? Does that usually happen to us? No, but my mind, because I'm on this little square, tells me that I have the potential to happen. So if I can be trippy over something like this, right? This optic illusion, just like when you go on a roller coaster and it has the feeling like you can just, like you flung into the sky, right? Unless the thing is dysfunctional and it's actually broken. There are roller coaster accidents, but normally people go on that sucker because they know that they're going to go on there, they're going to be scared, and at the end of the day, they're going to be let off the ride, and they can go home. They say that we're just dreaming. We're in a dream. That we're dreaming. This is Anana's dream. In the shadow. Peter Pan. The combination of two worlds. The unseen and the seen. Shadow and light. The male and female energies manifested as flesh. Terrain. A physical manifestation of the 5 elements. So that's what we're looking at. Sensation. But in actuality, scientifically, this issue's not here. Go figure. So that the water is an element, and that is here, and physicality is here. You can feel things, and water is wet, and fire is hot, but it does not look the way that we're perceiving it. Even in the way that we perceive it within ourselves, right? So there's different layers to the manifestation, you know, like steam, to water, to air, a vapor, under the canopy, the ocean and the lake and the air and the ice is all the same. It's just a different percentage, it's just a different ratio of water content. Fire, the sun that fuels the earth is the same sun that fuels the plants, the same sun that fuels our cells from the plant food that we eat, from the life forms that we eat. It powers everything. And we eat that. So when we eat food, it's like a Duracell battery. We consume to live. And we're passionate about that. Fire is also a different manifestation of the sun. Or lack of control that could be also be like a representation of Hades. You know, a lack of resources, lack of control, right? So instead of hot, you would be more like hot potato, like cold, away from the mark, you know, and letting the passions go in the inverted direction toward consuming in a counterproductive way. Addictions and so forth. The way that we treat the earth, counterproductive. Looking at fire, water, earth, air, and ether in a counterproductive way is a joke, is demonic. Satire. Satyr, synonymous with goat. Pan as in an acronym for not an acronym, but symbolic of the whole Christ consciousness. What I was just talking about, you know, fire, water, earth, air, and ether, a being that represents, you know, all aspects of who we are in one body, with a choice to cater to higher or lower frequencies. And all of us have that same choice. So, yeah, it's all in the matter of perception, how we look at it. So I thought all that was pretty cool. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to share today. Much love to you and yours. Hi, family. I hope your day is going well. Getting through the different changes that we have now. Some of you may be feeling just a separate concept. You may be feeling the different changes right now. For me, there's a change in the energy and the way that it's flowing through my body. I can feel an increase in the conscious collective again. So we've changing the consciousness grid. I'm feeling a wide turn. You know how when you're in a car, I don't drive, but when you're in a car, you make those small turns? Well, I'm feeling a wide turn. You know what it feels like as a passenger? I'm feeling a wide turn right now in the conscious collective, as far as a change from what we didn't know as a people to what we are aware of right now. And that's very important. That's hopeful. I'd rather be in a world with a whole bunch of people trying to learn than in a world with a whole bunch of people just giving the reins away all the time to knuckleheads who are there to hurt us and our children. Who just keep giving them the reins. Here, take it. Hurt us. Yeah, we like it. We don't want to learn anything. Yeah, so we're learning now. We are learning. And that's changing the consciousness grid as a whole. And so I'm very grateful to that, to our Creator for that. Yeah. I love this view. There's so many different things to appreciate, you know. Ooh. They're killing those trees even more over by where I live at with that you know, now that we stepped into 5G, and I'm looking at this electric box over near where my house is. It's sad to see Sometimes you just have to stand. You're standing around watching knuckleheads do like really painful, you know what I'm saying? Killing people, killing, the earth. And I think, oh my gosh, you feel so helpless, but then you have to remember our ancestors and what they endured and what they paid forward, knowing that there was no freaking way out. There's days, that's because I can feel it. You just put your hands up like F it. There's nothing, what can you do but breathe through it, like birthing a new heart. Birthing through so much pain that we don't have any choice but to appreciate ourselves, right? After everything we've been through, how can we not appreciate such a dynamic and fantastic people? We are so beautiful and so ready to develop ourselves. Nice big fat baby, new, right out of the black hole. And we went through so many birthing pains, and now we can make our mama proud with the collection of our gifts, our attributes, our talents and abilities we can bring to the banquet. We can manifest so many things right now. See, sometimes it's just insane, We're giving ourselves permission to be beautiful. We've given ourselves permission to be wonderful. We've given ourselves permission to be kind and loving and wise, not kind and stupid. Turn your cheek, let them smack the heck out of you and your mama and your children and your grandbabies. Turn the other cheek and bend over. No, we're not doing that. We have a practical application to the love that we bring to the table because we do value ourselves. And yeah, so we're getting this, we're starting to get this new concept, right, of transmutation of darkness into light. Not just eating it and, ingesting somebody else's garbage. Their pig feet, their collard greens, their whatever food that they gave to the slaves, and that's the only way that you knew yourself. Gosh forbid that you find out that you were authors and orchestrators of vast civilization prior to the images and indoctrination that we were given about being peons and unintelligent beings and stuff like that. So we're out of there. Anybody who thought that was just as indoctrinated and sad, because they miss out too, right? They miss out on the truth. They see things that are not even there. They're seeing an illusion, right? They're seeing a world that was pulled over our eyes, but not seeing what was really there. Sometimes, to get rid of the noise, pay attention to one single element, like this air right now. It feels really good, air. There's cool air, there's hot air, there's hard air, there's fast air, there's subtle air, right? There's gentle breezes. And then there's whipping air from like when there's storms and stuff. Kick your butt, kick your butt kind of air. But then beyond the air, there's the breath. And you can't take the breath and transmute the air without the breath and the concentration on the breath, on the appreciation, the connection, right? And the synopsis, like, what is air? So I breathe in this air with my own concept, my own connection See, you can't connect to something that you don't know is there, right? You don't know. It's not the same thing. So within this breath, I'm one of the few people that can enjoy knowing that I'm breathing my ancestors too. The attributes of my ancestors. And all that they went through. It's in the air, just like you walk into a room and you know whether, if you're in a room and somebody walks in it and it changes the whole vibe to happy or sad because of the frequency that that person who walked in is carrying. In the same way, the weather is like that, and the weather is a collection of the spiritual energy that is on the planet or within the area that you're in. Okay. All right. So my date of birth is Philadelphia on February 2nd. Okay. 1969. And the energy that was in that sector and was allotted to my mother and father when they had the shebang, when they did their big bang. And when they conceptualized that egg, our creator said, okay, our ancestors and the Jed on the other side said, that goes to that one right there. Give it to that family. And give that one. And when you were born, our ancestors said, okay, give that one to that family. And so they're doling it out. They're doling out these talents and abilities. Now we take our talents and abilities, just like in the Bible, and some of us bury it. We bury it because we're afraid. We bury it because we're not supposed to step out of line. We're not supposed to be different. Some of us dare to be different. Other ones don't. Because that's the program of the indoctrination. And that's why I said I am so grateful that we're starting to break out of that now. And even if you have to be a follower, right? Following in a direction that was interesting sound. That brings something mutually beneficial. That tree is making a creaking sound like it could fall. It's weird. Yeah, so making a sound. Oh, making a sound. It was creepy. Yeah, so at least we're all headed in a direction where we can be mutually beneficial as opposed to being counterproductive with the images and the stupidity. Now, you see around you, some people are still headed in that direction. And that's just what they need to do. I don't know how many lifetimes or how many spaces it took me to get to the place where I wanted to be in this frame of mind, but it took a lot of pain. That's what I was saying. It took a lot of pain for us to get to this space. A lot of our ancestors paid it forward. They took all the pain. Much more. Or a different kind. I wouldn't say much more because, on this physical plane of reality, we all had our different things that we had to overcome. For us, it's the age of technology and all the different informations and not getting lost in it. And, I always think about the generations that have lived and died and didn't know anything about their own value. Our ancestors, our lineage, who Christ really was, their right to be happy, for someone to be happy that they shine. Oh, okay, one more thing I was thinking about. As far as being a woman, sometimes, like, reality too, right? Being in America, I don't be thinking sometimes, right? I really got to go and look at these different cultures and see the way the women are being treated. and see how much say-so they have within their own governments and stuff, you know? Because, you know, you get kind of frustrated looking at women's rights and our situation and stuff like that. But then you look around worldwide, America seems like it's the last stance when it comes to a woman opening her freaking mouth. What? I'm very grateful that I get to state my opinion. And even though I'm still struggling, you know, many of us women still feel like we're struggling with the concept of what it is to be a woman. At least we have the right to explore that here. This place is where she ain't exploring jack. And she ain't saying nothing either. And for that, I'm grateful. No, I'm not where I want to be. But I'm far from where I could be that I wouldn't be okay with me. So sometimes we can get stuck in the illusion, like complaining. And then I think, you know, but if I was somewhere else, I'm grateful to be here. This is like an opportunity, being born here and seeing the situation of what's been done is still an opportunity to be grateful. If that makes any sense. You know, like the Tale of Two Cities, this is the best of times, this is the worst of times. This is the Tale of Two Cities. You can get with this or you can get with that. So I choose to be grateful. I choose to be helpful. I choose to be learning so that I can increase my helpfulness, my usefulness. And there's nothing that I enjoy more than feeling the actual frequency, the true frequency of our Creator. And to me, those are the different attributes and elements to us. Like there's not one way to look at it. There's so many different aspects to look at it, just like the air. That's one little thing. And I can go on and on all day long about air. What? I was thinking flagellant. I could go on and on and on about air and gas and carbon dioxide and the different stages of air is pretty cool, right? The different attributes of the Creator. We're looking, but we're not really seeing that the Creator is us. And it's like so simple you feel stupid, and so simple but yet complicated, because that's the micro macro of it. You know what I'm saying? The fractalization of our situation is what, when we pay attention to that, is what brings us closer to the idea of the Creator and who we are and the different attributes that we have as a people and how we should work together. And I believe that that's why it was just so easy without all these types of distractions during the age of technology to get lost, you know. Good day, beloved. Hi, Sandra. I love this, sis. I always feel cheerful with her. As an empath, you can pick up on a lot of different stuff. So, and I'm a little weird when it comes to friendships and stuff like that. So I really appreciate all of you who stuck by me through the years and been learning with me. Much love to you and yours, super scholars. So basically, that's all I wanted to say. I was just going out for a walk and tripping on that illusion of the Matrix and how, you know, I'm looking at stuff that I'm really looking at stuff that's not there. This green ain't there. That's scientific. This green is not even here. And so if Pan said that this life is the shadow, and I'm looking at the absence of green, not green. So the shadow being the essence, you know, so that's where it really gets trippy, y'all. You super scholars, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. The shadow is what's actually here, the essence. Shadow is creepy. That stuff that hides inside of us and lurks. You know, you can scare yourself. Anyway, I'm out. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for listening. Catch me on YouTube. I'm Regina's Rabbit Hole. Push the like button. Subscribe. You can even donate. That would help tremendously.